Join our staff and leaders of our church as we journey through topics that inform, engage, and inspire the daily life of our church.
Hello and welcome to the Roundtable from Pulaski Heights United Methodist Church. This is a podcast of discussions with substance. And today we're going to be talking about Easter. All right, so I'm Jay Clark and I'm one of the pastors on staff here.
My name is Daniel Curry. I'm on staff here at Pulaski Heights.
My name is Kathleen McMurray and I'm one of the pastors.
And I'm Abbey Maynard. I'm also one of the pastors.
Why is Easter, and I feel like a Jerry Seinfeld routine. Why is Easter so important to us?
Because we're celebrating the resurrection of Jesus from the dead.
Do you prefer people to say Easter because it's been taken over and so secular, or do you prefer people to say Resurrection Day? Another question that's not on our list. But I mean, that I hear, or I'll see on Facebook, Happy Resurrection Day. And does it make a difference?
Not to me. I mean, I've grown up with Easter Sunday,
right.
So I've definitely heard that more than Resurrection Day. But like you said, we find hope in an empty tomb. We find joy in an empty tomb. So that's, we are thankful for the resurrection. But Easter's been the more common language for me.
Yeah. Well, I also like something that sets us apart as United Methodist or mainline Christians from some other denominations is that like Easter specifically is the resurrection. Mm-hmm. And we have the Holy Week that remembers the death of Jesus, the last moments in the death of Jesus on Good Friday, and that Easter is specifically about the empty tomb. Whereas there are other denominations where it's about kind of encapsulating that whole death and resurrection experience, which are both there. But for us, we kind of divide that up liturgically.
And there are a lot of people that jump straight to Easter.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like people jump straight to Christmas. There is no Last Supper. There is no, death before there's resurrection. And, Lent is a pretty dark time. If you use it the way that it was meant to be. Yeah. And so for a lot of people, they, will have Palm Sunday and wave the palms. And the next thing you know, it's He is risen. He is risen indeed. And that's it.
Yeah.
But I do, I like to go through the whole week of Monday, Thursday, Good Friday. Of course, we throw in an Easter egg hunt on Saturday for the children, and then have Easter. So you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just going to say yes, because if an empty tomb doesn't mean anything unless there was a body there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of tombs that are empty, but it's only a big deal because there was a body there first. Mm-hmm.
We just get a deeper understanding and a better appreciation for that empty tomb whenever we have the breadth and the depth of what happens on Monday, Thursday, what happens on Good Friday.
Absolutely.
To find joy on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
What about powerful Easter experiences? Working in the church, we don't experience Easter the same way that we hope everyone else does. We don't. It's other Sundays that we may engage more with the Spirit, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And Easter is a lot of work leading up to it. But powerful Easter experiences.
I think probably for a lot of us, I was still in Georgia at the time, but it was it was coming back from COVID. Yeah. Easter was our first big service, getting to be back in person in our sanctuary. And we went all out with the flowers and everything. And I just remember that was such a powerful experience to get to worship back in that space where we hadn't gotten to yet, because all we had gotten to do at that point was either preach to a live group in the parking lot or film in the sanctuary. And so to see it, that space be filled with people, really, for me, had such a feeling of resurrection in a space that had kind of felt dead before, when we were just having to film and it had been empty.
A lot of the churches that I have worked in and grown up in have had the tradition of a flowering cross. And that's been one of my favorite things to look at from a distance, but also participate in growing up, is you see young children and you see older adults that have brought flowers that have oftentimes come from their own personal garden, and you see a cross that at the beginning of the morning is empty, and then it is at the end of the day filled with flowers of all kinds and so many different blooms, and it's just a wonderful thing to see the body of Christ come together and build this cross in a way, and have it bloom right before you. It's beautiful to see all of the people participate in that.
I have a couple that come to mind. One is, like Abbey said, Easter after COVID here at Pulaski Heights. That was our first in-person worship that was back, and it was not here because we felt we couldn't hold as many people as would want to come in person. So we did it at War Memorial Stadium, and it was just incredible. I mean, so much planning, so much effort went into that service, and of course it was different. It was something we had never done before, and we're trying to do it on Easter. But at the end, it was like, oh my goodness, it was just glorious.
It was overwhelming.
It was absolutely overwhelming to be in the body of Christ again, and to have this tangible sense of resurrection. It was just absolutely overwhelming. And then another kind of Easter that comes to mind, a powerful experience, was a previous church that I served, where I officiated a funeral the day before Easter, on Holy Saturday, and it was just because the week, of course, he had died during the week, and there was funeral planning going on amidst all of the other Holy Week things. And this particular church, they had daily services with other churches every day during Holy Week. And so it was, there was just so much going on. And then, celebrating this service of death and resurrection on Saturday, and then Easter on Sunday. It was just, for the life of the church, the power of resurrection is that it speaks to us even through death. Yeah. And it really kind of gave, I won't say a darker tone, but just a deeper tone to what resurrection could mean, and the power and the hope that we have in that, to really tie it to a death of someone that we loved in that church.
One Easter week, one Holy Week, at a previous church that I was working in, we had liturgical dancers. I'm not a big fan of liturgical dance, but when it's done well, then it could be very moving. And we had this group of teenagers that did this at the end of our Good Friday service. They had been dancing to Lord of the Dance. And at the end of their dance, our organist went to a minor key, and they began to slow down, and then all the dancers died. I mean, they went down. And then in silence, everyone left. And then on Easter Sunday, before church began, all the girls came back in and took their positions down on the floor, and then they came to life on the last verse of Lord of the Dance as we began worship. And, that stuck with me that was 20-something years ago, but it stuck with me because it was just wonderful. I mean, there's no other word. And I mean, it kind of described it. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of liturgical dance, but that's one of my Easter moments.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anybody else? No? Well, really, we have, what are you looking forward to this Easter? It's both of your first Easters.
It's my first Easter here. I was gonna make a joke and say the power outage.
Cut the tape.
on
Cut
what?
the tape. Yeah.
Too soon.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am just really excited to see what. I think Easter is different in every place, and I'm just excited to get to experience it here in this space with these people for the first time.
Yeah. Again, first Easter on staff here, so I'm just blessed to not only be a part of this, but also just experience that full depth of Holy Week with this congregation. So being able to be a part of that, because it is a hustle and a bustle, but just being able to be a part of it all is exciting. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about Easter. I don't know, and whatever unexpected things may happen, we will deal with them. But I think that it's just a joyous time. I
also want to make sure that, and I'm sure you all feel the same way, that I actually take the time to experience and to, let yourself take it in as well. And I think that's important. So that's all we have about Easter. Next week for our roundtable, we hope you'll tune in. There won't be a roundtable discussion because we'll be live streaming our Monday-Thursday service. I think it'll be very meaningful, and I hope you'll join us for that. If you can come in person, we'd love to have you here on Thursday at noon and 7.
Well, the noon is going to be from 11 to 1. There's a drop-in prayer time with communion. And then at 7 p.m. is the service.
And then Friday is our Good Friday service.
At noon and 11.
Right.
No, noon and 7.
Noon and 7.
Not 11.
And then you can see our full schedule of Easter things is at phumc.com/Easter.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can go there and see what all we have to offer, because there's a lot of things going on. And anyway, we hope you'll join us for the roundtable again in 2 weeks. We hope you have a happy and wonderful Easter, and with friends or family or both. And we'll see you next time. Take care.